Hey everybody, thanks for checking out my CTR videos. Hopefully you're watching this one first. I want to, quickly cover in this video the biggest mistake that I think people make, and that is sending too much traffic to their asset too soon. Whether it's your GMB or your website, this is the same concept. You can't just all of a sudden launch a new website and then send thousands of views and expect Google to believe that is organic traffic. CTR manipulation is all about tricking Google into thinking that these are organic results and people are actually searching for it. You're sending engagement signals, whether it's to the website or the GMB, that people are searching, finding your asset and clicking on it. They're finding what they want and engaging. That's all that we're doing here. So I use this one as an example. This was a brand new GMB that was set up in February. We got the website and G site and Google My Business site, citations, whatever. We got all the basic stuff done in February. I didn't start CTR right away. All I did in the first month was send a few branded searches, probably like 7 of them over like 14 days. That's all you really need to do to establish the brand in a closer proximity. That's not going to necessarily give you citywide ranking unless you have a really unique brand. But the point is, it doesn't take a lot. Less is more. Always start with less because you can always add more. If you start with too much and then you pull it back, Google sees a drop off in the traffic volume. And if they see a drop in the traffic, they're going to think that people aren't interested in your site anymore, or they're not finding what they wanted, and they may de-rank you. So sending too much, best case scenario, it won't move. Worst case scenario, you're going to tank your ranking. Google's either going to know that it's fake volume, or you're going to send a bunch of searches that doesn't move the needle, and then you'll go, well, this doesn't work, and you give up and you stop, and then there's a huge drop off in the amount of search traffic that you're sending to your either website or Google My Business profile. And that is going to look like a negative thing. So this is a campaign that I set up for March, or several campaigns. It looks like 3 different ones. I don't have maps for all of them. This is the largest volume money keyword only. But for the 3 campaigns that I set up, I did 25 total views for the entire month. So this is less than 1 search a day, and it's between 5 keywords. So 5 searches per keyword over an entire month. The search volume for the entire city, which is Charlotte, North Carolina, the population's over 800,000. It's a competitive niche, was 2590 for the month. And so if I'm only sending 25 views, that's slightly less than 1% of the traffic. I also did 25 views in the month for brand plus the highest volume keyword. And then I just did brand plus phone, brand plus zip to like help, keep going and help establish the brand. But I only did 15 of those. So 1 search every other day for between 3 different keywords. So like barely any searches. There was only 65 total searches for the entire month. That is nothing. Then you can see the results from it. This is largely it's hard to say that this is all from CTR. It's not from just CTR. CTR is like the icing on the cake. You got to have your foundation. So this is assuming that you do all your other SEO stuff. CTR is not some like magic thing that you can just ignore everything else and do CTR and then you're going to win. That's not the point. The point is to create some engagement signals so that you get that organic rank. And then assuming that you have everything set up correctly and you're going to engage with people, once you're ranking, the organic rank actually does take over and you don't need to keep doing CTR forever. It's just to get it to the point where it's in front of enough eyes that people are now clicking on it and engaging with it, picking up the phone, submitting forms, whatever, engaging with your profile. And then you can move out to different areas or broaden your CTR campaign to cover the entire city. So I want to show an example. I just picked a random company by me. This doesn't have, I have no relationship with this company. It's just a random HVAC company. I went to like page 3 of Google and found somebody. and it was based on the highest volume. So this keyword is for furnace repair for an HVAC company. You can see that I'm guessing their address is somewhere around here because proximity is the biggest factor. But then there are 20s everywhere else. Now the search volume for furnace repair is 390 per month. If I were to send even like 30 searches, the only place that this is ranking is like right here. It's just like a few blocks. So there's no way that you're going to get 10% of the search volume. You can't just like start a CTR campaign and say, hey, covering this entire area, which, what is it, 144 square miles? In 144 square miles, all of a sudden people are going to page 3 to find this business and click on it. Google's going to call BS on that because it's not natural. People don't go to page 3. They're, maybe page 2, but that's like if they're looking for something specific. I think for services like HVAC or plumbing or whatever, they're typically more, I don't know, not always urgent, but it's like you look at the first page, you look at some people that have good reviews, you make a few calls. If nobody's available, then you keep going down the list, sure. But you're gonna call the easiest people because it's not really something that you're like shopping around to find like cool images or like somebody that has a cool website. That stuff doesn't necessarily matter with um, home services like this. So if this were my GMB and I was going to do CTR, I would come in here and look at this and say 390. All right, maybe let's do All American HVAC. So All American HVAC furnace repair. And I'm sure if I did that keyword right now, I don't have a map for all this, and I don't want to make this a super long video, but if I peppered in that keyword, I'm sure I would rank in some of these other areas because you're including the brand name. Assuming that the brand name is established, you can have some of those, and then maybe, I don't know, I would probably start targeting this area right around it, and I would do like 5 searches over 7 days or 14 days or something like that. Barely any. And you kind of got to monitor it. Sometimes it'll pop right away. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time. But I would geolocate right around this area so that it's not actually going to page 2 of Google or page 3 for these people. Uh, and just search in this area, like right around wherever their address is. And then you'll see this pop. And once this is like a number 10 or even like higher than 20, then you can start pushing it out. You can zoom out a little bit, and now you can geo target a wider area. I always describe it as like a radio signal getting broadcast out. As the power of your signal getting broadcast out increases, you can push your radius out of where your CTR clicks are coming from until you cover this whole thing green. Now, with 390 searches, uh, that's not the right area, but let's just assume it was exactly this square. That would be all of the searches for this area. So until you're ranking like above 10 for all of these, you can't include this entire number in your calculation. If you were in the top 10 everywhere, then I would say maybe you could do 30 to 40 searches a month in this grid that we see here. Hopefully that makes sense. But the takeaway should be less is more. Don't overdo it because it's not going to help. You can always add more, but it's harder to take away. So start small, use branded searches, use branded plus your money keywords, and just start small until you start pushing this out. The other thing that I would say is you got to group your keywords. And this is probably getting into another video, but you want to group your keywords based on volume. So if you're going to do like HVAC maintenance, this doesn't have a high search volume. So if you're going to do like furnace installation, HVAC service, and HVAC maintenance, you want to create a separate campaign, and maybe you're only going to do 10 for the entire month of 3 of these. So 3 searches each over 30 days because there's not a lot of volume for it. But peppering those in will help Google understand like who you are and your brand and what you offer. So I'd probably group these ones together. Maybe this one would be on its own and then group these together. It just kind of depends on what you're pushing and how big of a difference these numbers are. Anyway, hope that makes sense. Less is more. Start small. Thanks for watching.